this Reaper of Maru, I don't know how he got by without Clem seeing, but Clem's like, he was trying to get him in that bottom right corner. Nowhere to be found. So behind all this, Maru's actually producing, nice little repair there to keep that SV alive, but this is already a nice little win for Maru, keeping his opponent away while he went for the slightly greedier opening.
Yeah, you're denying a bit of the income temporarily, even if he does protect that SV. And the Reaper gets away again, comes over, so he pokes the SCV that's building the command center, but when you're building 2 Reapers at a time, he's not going to be at a numbers disadvantage. So he's able to get right back on to produce that command center. The Reaper actually coming back from the base, almost booping them into the rest of the units with that grenade. And he's still got another couple of Reapers that are going to be coming out. So if you're Clem with this Cyclone and not a lot of Hellions, not a lot of Reapers, you do have to be a little bit careful, though he does get a nice grab on that one, trying to go up the ramp.
He certainly does, and 2 Hellions left for Clem here, which is nice for him, but my goodness, the micro on both sides, keeping the low health units back and really baiting out their opponent, but Clem will be safe against this for now. Did go for a very fast Cyclone, both of them getting their CCs up and running. Maru skipping the Cyclone by the looks of it and just going straight into tank production.
Yeah, I guess he just feels comfortable because he's had this position out on the map. He's seen everything that Clem's been doing. He also got inside of the main base, so he knows there wasn't anything super crazy coming his way. Now, the quick medevac, instead of going into the Raven 2 for Maru, does say that it kind of suggests he wants to go for, perhaps just bring that up with the 2 Marines. We see people bring that tank really early on, and depending on where the Raven is or the Cyclone's position, it could be really dangerous. And he's going to get a safety Cyclone on the back end of this. This is going to be kind of wild because the Reapers can easily join this by going up that ramp if he drops the tanks right up on top inside the main. Oh, great scout for Clem.
Beautiful scout for Clem. So he knows exactly what he's up against. Where is he going to position? He is on the high ground with that dancing Cyclone over there. But that CC is rather precariously positioned, but he's not going to go for the main at all here. And he guards the ramp. This is actually getting really bad. The first tank shot was not on anything too valuable. Second tank shot, really good, though.
Yeah, those Cyclones can do a really good job at trying to poke and prod away at units, but as you said, he's cut the ramp off, and Cyclones, they die in 2 hits to the tanks, so any other little bit of damage, of course, is going to make that even more of a problem, but he doesn't have any way to defend that base. The Raven has to come out, drop the auto turret. Now, the tank does focus fire onto the Cyclone, lands 1 hit, and as long as he's got this little smattering of Marines and the Reapers, it's so difficult to just pull SCVs or something right onto that siege tank. A tremendous amount of pressure being applied early in this game, working away on the wall, too. That barracks taking a lot of damage. Medevac giving the high ground vision. Clem gets his own tank, but the Medevac repositions just in time. He's shot first. Maru should be able to get that tank of Clem's, and he does.
He certainly does, but now the Cyclones from Clem, they have a lot of work to do here. Nice kill on the tank, stopping that, but a lot of damage was done here, Nate, and it's not over by the looks of it. 1 Cyclone again falling down. That turret! Oh, he doesn't even get the Raven kill, and Clem shakes his head.
Hero auto turret.
I can't believe how well they're both microing, but freaking Maru's micro, dude. He is snapping everywhere. Every unit that takes a little bit of damage just bounces back immediately, almost like a freaking Jedi at this point.
Yeah, this is gnarly. He's not taking the foot off the gas at all to Muslim. Another siege tank is here, just rallying straight across the map. That Raven's going to have enough energy for another auto turret, and there's no more Cyclone for Clem to actually take that out of play. So he throws the turret, which is going to be able to focus down that tank. So Clem, without his anti-siege, is going to crash. And SCV's got C's. It's just a straight-up reactor first.
Yeah, definitely interesting. Like, if I think about playing TVT against Maru, I'm always worried about his proxy rexes, even though he's kind of steered away from it in recent times. But yeah, this is a leap forward on the greedy side of things. So Maru going for the same thing again, the Reaper into the reactor after scouting. Both these builds can be a little bit crazy if you play against the proxy 2-Rex, but Maru totally voids that by scouting, whereas Clem totally taking a bit of a risk here.
Just considering the way that he started this off, Clem is going to want to poke, right? He's going to want to do a little bit with this. If you can get away with Reactor before anything else out of the barracks, you should have just that minor production advantage, which we saw in the last game. The extra couple Reapers for Maru worked out really well for him. But a Widow Mine in center mass, well, that could be a tide turner, so to speak.
I mean, Clem has to be quick about this. And, Widow Mine is revealed now, so Clem actually handled the start of this fight very well. He could do the whole Fast and the Furious, send the Hellion in to bait the damage, but we'll see what happens. I love how Maru set up behind this Widow Mine, though, really baiting it, because even if Clem does try and do that, the amount of firepower here for Maru, like he's actually doing everything really damn good, but
The
really respected.
Yeah, the way he spread the units, having the Widow Mine up front, and like you said, it's actually not even that bad of a move, especially if the Marines aren't spread out, to just take the Hellion, pull the aggro off the mine, and drag it into all the Marines, and then the Reapers one-shot them, and things get ugly very fast. But now he's going to have time to get the Raven out. He has the Reapers and his Hellion on top of the ramp. Not an easy position to push. Oh, that mine is not where it was before. Does get a big shot off on the medevac. And of course, that is still alive. But now he needs to be very cautious as he does siege up his own tank. Maru is just, actually, Clem is just bringing Maru's last game build straight back into his face.
This is kind of what I want to see from Clem, you know? Like, he was kind of the defender, and then he realized, this isn't how I normally like to play. But Maru, an expert at just making you play how he wants you to. But this positioning by Clem, definitely decent. Oh, cheeking that medevac. Nice. That's actually a really big deal.
Denies the vision because obviously his siege tank on the ground has the range to push some of these units away given the right circumstances, but he no longer has that air unit to get it for himself. The interference matrix gets dropped on the tank, so he's saying, now I can siege mine up in front of yours, but the Cyclone comes on to target it down, and the Marines are going to step forward since there is no splash damage to pick them off. Maru's tank gets popped, but he has quite a few units ready to move out now, and that second Raven, look to Muslim, he's even going to get the third. The potential for a lot of interference matrices on those tanks early, or just auto turrets to blast this down, is huge.
Look how they're both dancing with their Cyclones. There was one redeeming thing there for Clem, was the scan on the tank and killing it with the Cyclone, but yeah, this is not a nice position for Clem to be in. He's on the back foot. Maru's ahead in supply. Both got their third CCs on the go as well, and Maru using all his scans just to find out what lies behind because, yeah, he wants to put on the pressure here.
He wants to bring the pain. I do believe Clem did just finish a tank. He's going to pull the SCVs, though. This is where those Ravens come into play with the auto turrets, soaking up a lot of the damage. But a turret on the top side for Clem as he's able to get the wraparound on that tank. Get those Ravens out if you can. The Marines are actually still getting quite a few last hits over there. So 8 SCVs die for Clem. And it's a nice little worker advantage for Maru, especially since both players are going to go bio. Those minerals are a bit more important. Yeah, these situations always get really crazy. I'm kind of surprised Clem still went for the third Raven here, too, because he wants to have that energy and utility on his side. Usually, if that's not the focus of the build, you see them switch off, like you were saying, to the Vikings a little bit earlier. But having those Vikings as early as Maru does now is going to make it quite difficult for those Ravens to get into the position that they want to be. Of course, Ravens, they're never really bad in TVT. If you can control them as well as these guys do and not just A-move them into the Marines, they're pretty damn good.
Oh, I love this scanning by both of them. Clem scanning to the left, realizing he's not there, and he's like, okay, given that you're scanning aggressively, you've got to be somewhere, right? And he was absolutely right. So he's quick to get into a position here, but oh, is he going to go for the pounce? He's going to, but Maru's back again, and nice interference matrices, nice aggressive turrets by both of them, and I think, all things said and done, nice defense so far by Clem, because this was looking horrible for a moment there.
Yeah, it turns into a wipe almost on both sides. The Ravens dying for Maru. Most of the Ravens dying as well for Clem. But well, if you leave SCVs exposed, Vikings do that almost double damage to mechanical. SCVs count for mech units, so they can do quite a bit of pain. And Maru actually just runs his tiny little bit of extra forces straight up in there as Stim completes. He is really... we are really just seeing him refuse to stop ever attacking. The one moment Clem had him in his base, as soon as he broke out, he never stopped. And look at this, we're almost 9 minutes into the game. He's got an almost 20-30 supply lead.
Look at that SCV count, Nate. 72 versus 49. He's going in for the kill here. I don't think Clem can hang on for much longer. And Clem, look at that. He has never played against anybody playing this fierce before.
That's insane.
Okay, Clem going for reactor Hellions here. I don't hate it at all. Like, if the standard stuff has not been working against this guy, whip this out. But Maru's changing it up again. Like going for a really fast Cyclone. He's going to be able to get the scout off here most likely as well. Might do a little bit ringing around here, trying to whip out a few SCV kills, which he gets actually. Clem out of position a little bit.
Yeah, the Reaper comes along with the 2 Hellions though, and it should be enough to deal with this. He's going to get one of them, but still losing 4 SCVs. And most importantly for Maru in this scenario is getting the full scout. I don't think you're as much worried about keeping those alive just because, like you said, he got the Cyclone. He's going to build another Cyclone. And Clem, though, oh, is this Is this going to be the old cheeky Marauder drop with concussive and Hellion support? It feels like you're supposed to. I mean, not only a couple units getting picked off, of course, but he did. I think he missed a production cycle just off of those because it's getting the Marauders, getting the concussive shells, 300 resources per production cycle for this type of strategy, and that is tough to deal with, especially losing, like you said, a couple of those units at the front. The siege tank will help shut it down, and he delayed the Raven a bit too. He wasn't in a rush to use the starport because, like you said, he just wants to get those powerful ground units. I'm not sure the two Marauders are going to be able to get what he needs done here. They do lock on to the medevac, so the Marauders have no way home.
No, I mean, they're going to get a Cyclone kill here for their troubles, but look at this. The Hellions get on top of the tank, but the tank's a pretty fierce competitor as well when it comes to that, and lost 2 SCVs, but I'm saying that and I'm like, man, everything's gone so awful for Clem. Can we have a quick look at the resources lost tab? Yeah, every game's kind of looked like this, just from the openings. Like, for real, Clem hasn't played against anything like this before.
It's a very tough spot to be in, especially considering the Cyclone loss. You know, it's like, obviously you don't want to lose your units, but the Cyclones are not exactly something that you need to have in the later stages. I say that, though, but he's been forcing these fights as often as he can, and I expect him to just, he might even just be already rallying across the map. He's got the Raven, he's got the Marines, got the tank, and we'll probably see if he finds or smells blood in the water, that interference matrix onto the tank, and he'll just straight up siege in his face and say, come at me, bro, let's see if you can beat me in a 1v1 fight. Yeah,
definitely. Third CCs, about the same time exactly for both of these players. What's the Raven count for both of them? I think they've got 2 out apiece. All right. Maru with 1 extra tank, and he does have that extra Cyclone. Hellions provide a lot of buffer, can do some good damage. Man, Clem has no idea where his opponent is, but being very good about the scouting, but still no idea whatsoever.
These Hellions grab one of the Marines and they're going to try to go back across. He's pulling some of the attention of these forces away. The siege tank is going to pepper some fire on the way back, and those Vikings are going to land. We talk about the damage they do. It also works against the Hellions. Vikings very strong at dealing with those on the map.
Yeah, and there's Hellions. There's a Lost Boys on the map here, and we'll get seeked out by these duckling Vikings over here waddling away.
His spread is nothing is going to get away. You send these across the map, nothing will make it back home.
Yeah, and I mean, like, these guys, they're not going to be useful as the game goes on, but it would be nice if you could have got a little bit extra out of them, right, considering how everything else went, but we'll see. Let's have a look at these army compositions. Both of them going to start landing their thirds about the same as well. SCV count, despite how, you know, unfavorably it went for Clem, still not too terrible for him. And actually, I'm looking at this, and even though a lot of it didn't go well, I'm still like, you know what, Clem absolutely has a chance here.
Yeah, the most important thing is going to be the retention on the air units, I think, and whether or not those next couple of Vikings are coming out in time. It looks like he is evening it up, as Maru did have a minor Viking count lead. Defender's advantage is worth keeping into account there too, but if he's able to bully that air control, that's where things got really tricky for Clem in map number 2. So perhaps the greatest value the Hellions provided was buying him time, but he's going to siege up on the front, and this siege tank is super dead.
Super duper dead, and I loved how Maru, like both of them, vision knowledge is so damn important. Maru's really trying to bully him around here, just saying, hey.
Oh, he's got the spot.
He's got the spot. That is 5 tanks. I mean, this orbital, it will have to lift at some point.
And then the Vikings are going to hit him with a little more, too. He needs to actually lift that pretty quickly, because if he's not repairing it, he's got all the Vikings can actually take down the 3rd command center of Clem. No, he's going to go for the fight instead. Interference matrix, auto turrets flying all over the place, but the 5 siege tanks to Muslim continue to stand strong.
Clem took his hands off the keyboard there, man. He knew it. He was like, you just were bigger, faster, better, stronger this series. And
1 tank if he wants to try and push into there. The rest of it is coming up now for Clem, so perhaps he's bought himself almost enough time. The Vikings landing actually is a pretty smart move against these unsieged tanks. They have that damage, trying to spread them out, and he's actually going to be able to clear the majority of this away. Can also push that turret if he wants, but the reinforcements for Maru land, and his Vikings get taken out once more. He's quite lucky Maru didn't, I think, focus fire down that command center. Or would that have been a mistake, do you think?
I think, honestly, I think the way this game is going, I can't say Maru's done anything wrong. We look at the production. Yeah, we look at the production tab. 1-1 about to complete for the Korean here as well. It just goes from bad to worse. Okay, this was a nice start for Clem. Does get the first siege tank shot, which is definitely a saving grace, but 1 tank of his fall, both tanks of his fall. He's outnumbered here. He's got one tank stranded there at the third base, which looks like Maru will be wrapping round here to take it out. But yeah, Clem.
He's just going to go for it on this third base once again. Now you're right to Muslim. And now, as that tank is gone, another one rallies forward. The Vikings have landed. And we talk about all that firepower, all that damage. That 1-1 makes it so difficult to engage into this with the Marines and the siege tanks. Command center is done, and so is Clem. GG. Maru takes the 3-0.